Hi, everyone. And how is everyone doing today? Hope you're doing well and maybe staying safe and enjoying the weather. I know the last time I was here, I said I was enjoying the weather, and true to it, I was actually enjoying the weather, but it's kind of windy today. So, yeah, I'm not complaining though. At least I'll take the wind over the snow anytime and any day. And yes, but thank you to all our viewers on Facebook, on YouTube, on LinkedIn. And unfortunately, I apologize to all our Instagram viewers that we will not be coming live there tonight. But however, once we are done this section, I am going to download the video and I'll put it out there. So apologies and yeah, but definitely this video it's coming. And so to those of our Instagram viewers and yeah, Instagram viewers, you can always check this out on Facebook for sure. Let me put on the yeah, you could check us out on Facebook. The life is going on there, and the life is also going on LinkedIn as well too. Thank you so much. I'm so excited today because we have Dr. Bukola here in our midst, and today, we're just going to focus on our mental health and physical health. And today mark the end of our mental health, awareness month, which we started out this month. And every day we had a challenge. And it's beautiful that we're ending out this month with Dr. Bukola, and she's going to talk about mental health and our physical health and how they relate together. And so you're in for a big treat. And so if you have any questions, send those questions in, put those questions in the chat, and she would answer as much as she can. And so, Dr. Bukola, I'm just going to hand this over to you so that you can introduce yourself and tell us who you are and anything about you. Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for having me on the show. My name is Bukola Oyinloye. I am a family physician. I practice out of Saskatchewan in Canada, and I am a married mother of three children.
Awesome. We're so happy that you're here. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for I know you're busy and thank you so much for making our time. And so we're just going to go into the section that we're having today. What would you say physical health is?
Okay. Physical health, and I'm really glad. Thank you for bringing up this topic because it's a real important topic that, we need to, everybody needs to really, sit down and think and just reflect about our physical health and our mental health. And just like you said, that the Mental Health Awareness Month is coming to an end, and it was a good time for everybody to reflect on our mental health. I would define health generally according to how the World Health Organization puts it. And I think that that definition is just all encompassing and is just so succinct. World Health Organization defines health as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. You see, this definition is in two parts, the way I understand it. Initially, when I was, back in school and I heard this definition for the first time, I was like, what do they mean by not merely the absence of disease? Because when a person thinks that they are in physical health, the first thing, if you ask a person, are you healthy? You know, their response is likely to be, oh, yes, I think I'm healthy because I don't use any medications, you know. So we believe that, we are healthy because we are not using any medications. But what, the World Health Organization, is bringing to our awareness that it's not just the absence of disease that brings health or that defines health. We are not healthy because we haven't been diagnosed. We are not healthy because we are not using medications. If we look at that first part of the definition, that's where the real, meaning of health lies, where it says a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. You see that well-being, the being there is not the BEEN word, it's the BEING word, which is the active word. Being is something active, and it leads me to believe, and this is how I understood the definition, that health is something active. We actively are healthy. you know we are not just healthy because we're not using medications, or nobody has said we have one disease or the other. We are healthy because we are actively wanting to be in that state of complete health. We are going to go into other things that we can do to improve our health, but let me just quickly say that we have what we need to be healthy. As human beings, what do we really need to be healthy is our bodies. That's like the foundation. you know and I know that you were talking about how we're excited to be entering into summer, and also in that place of excitement. We all can't wait to take out our indoor plants, the plants that have been growing indoors. We can't wait to bring them outside into the sunlight, watch them grow and blossom and bring out fruits and things like that. So we are all excited for summer. But if you really think about it, you know, the fruits that we get from these plants that we're planting, the labor that we've been doing had been way before summer, way before spring. Even in winter, we had started planting and watering and fertilizing and buying our potting soil and setting them out in the sunlight on maybe the windowsill or something. So we have been actively working towards seeing the fruit of our labor outside. So that's the same way our health is. It's a state of action. We should actively work towards our health. Health is not by default. Is like my paraphrased version of what the definition of health is not by default. It doesn't happen. We're not healthy because we're young. We're not healthy because we are healthy because we are actively working it out. And I hope that as we go on in this discussion, we'll see ways in which we can work out our health.
Absolutely. And I think I liked how you stressed about that being, that is an active word. It's something that we need to be doing something about it. It's something that it's continuous. It's not something that it's just there. It's something that needs to be done about it. That's so true. And then that brings me even to the next question. So now you've given us the definition of what physical health is, and you've stressed about why it's important, that preparation state, that you made an example of summer, how we start preparing for summer, even during the winter time, right? But a lot of time people think it's summer, that's where the preparation and everything starts. No, it starts during the fall, the winter, where we start preparing towards summer. So I'm just curious, so how does our physical health, how does it affect our mental health, or how does our mental health affect our physical health?
Okay, that's a really very important question. That is almost like the meat of the matter of our discussion. Firstly, I would state that our physical health and our mental health, I consider them as twins. They could almost be interchangeable. The reason why they're not interchangeable is because one is physical, something that we could detect or see. The other is not. Otherwise they are like two peas in a pod. They are like, so they're like twins. They always work hand in hand, and they are directly linked together. They are so intertwined together that they cannot be changed. The studies have shown over and over that our physical health bears majorly and impacts directly on on our mental health, and vice versa. And it's very common and and I'm just going to give some examples. So first, if we are looking at how does my mental health affect my physical health, being in a good mental state of mind is really important for our bodies. And that's where we may have heard about terminologies like psychosomatic disorders. So, that's just a big fancy word that means that what I feel in my mind plays out in my body. So whatever goes on in my mind bears out in my body. I see the physical effects of it. Say, for example, headaches. Lots and lots of people come to my practice, and complain about headaches. Many times, sometimes we may find a cause for it, sometimes we don't. Sometimes there are no medical causes and we do all the tests and, and things like that. And we don't find anything. That could mean that, and studies have also shown that headaches is, a major symptom of something going on in the mind. It's a mental symptom. So even though it's playing out and we feel like our heads are throbbing, it could be a sign of stress. It could be a sign of anxiety. It could be a sign of somebody not being, in a good mental headspace, somebody feeling anxious, somebody feeling depressed, and things like that. Being in a good mental state of mind affects our bodies in several ways. Studies have shown that it reduces the risks of heart attacks and strokes. If we're in a, you know, positive mindset, if we have a, if we- our mentally, if we're in the right frame of mind, it reduces our risks of having strokes, of having heart attacks, of having, psychiatric symptoms such as anxiety and depression. And depression is a really major disorder, that we find that a lot of people are living with now. And, it just, you know, grips at my heart, when I see people who have depression, because it could be to the extreme that people will start having harmful thoughts, suicidal thoughts, and, not being in a good frame of mind could lead all the way down to that dangerous path. You know, not being in a good frame of mind have been known to be associated with an increased risk of obesity. So people who are, stressed, just because not only that, we feel when we are stressed, the body produces stress hormones. Naturally, these stress hormones would just make us gain weight. So whether we are eating or not, whether we're, we just discover that we just keep gaining this weight, which leads to obesity. Obesity leads to, all the works: high blood pressure, high blood sugar, high cholesterol, heart attacks that we've talked about, strokes that we've talked about, heart failure, and, it just goes down that path. So our mindset can affect all those chronic things. There has also been studies talking about, increased risk of problems with sleep. So sometimes people cannot sleep well. I've heard people tell me that, oh, I cannot, my mind just doesn't shut down at night. That can happen if the mind is, bothered, and the mind is not, in a good state. And it's the flip side as well. How does our physical bodies or physical state of mind, how does it affect our mental health? People who have chronic diseases, like we have talked about. So, we talked about how the mental health can affect the physical health and lead to all those highs. It's the same way how all those highs, like the high blood pressure and the high blood sugar, how they can affect our mental health. People who have chronic pain, who are always constantly in pain, they don't feel happy. They're not, excited, because they feel, if I stand up, I'm in pain. If I lie down, I'm in pain. If I turn, I'm in pain. So if they're always constantly in pain, it affects their mental health. People who are, who have high blood pressure, or who are obese, it sometimes affects one's self-esteem. it could affect one's self-confidence, and then they can feel like everybody, sometimes could be paranoia, and people, they start feeling, oh, everybody's judging me, or everybody's looking down on me, or somebody's fat shaming me, and things like that. And then that lightheaded, lightheartedness that we should all have is taken away. So they are very much intertwined, and they very well affect each other.
Oh, absolutely. Like everything you said is on point. It's on point, like even with my little clients that I see, the children that I see, some of the symptoms, especially when it comes to anxiety and stress, they talk about, which is sometimes parents or sometimes caregivers don't think about, is a stomach ache. It's like a child is so anxious going to school and they're telling you they're having all the stomach ache. Those are all signs of, although it's a physical sign, but at the same time too, it's sign of anxiety as well too, like the headaches, like you mentioned. Those are some things I hear all the time, and like you said, I think I like the word you had used, that they are twin. They cannot be separated, because one could lead to the other and the other could lead to the other as well too. And what I'm seeing now, that it's really, really so so rampant, and I think it's something that everybody needs to look into. It's that with the younger clients I'm seeing lots of sleep issues, like lots of sleep issues. They're not able to, they're not able to sleep, and even when they're sleeping, their minds are not able to like shut down. They're still constantly thinking, and so they're not even in that real state of, sleep, right? And yeah, for sure, to anxiety and all those ones. And so it tells us how our physical health too can play important parts in our also mental health as well too. So thank you for all those things you mentioned and all the health concerns that are associated with it, like the obesity, the stroke, and the high blood pressure, the heart attacks. And I think those are really, really important. And then to my next question is, so if I know that, I'm not sleeping well, that I'm having maybe headaches, pain, chronic pain, I'm having stroke, I'm having all those health issues that sometimes could lead to mental health issue, or sometimes I'm having some of all these mental health issues that has led to physical issues, so how can one take care of themselves so that they are taking care of their mental health or their physical health?
Okay. And that's a very good, question as well. And I'm just going to also, borrow a note from you when you talked about the sleep. I think, we can always start up this, answering this kind of question with the sleep, because, we get so little of it. It's as if, we should just extend the 24 hours to maybe 30 hours, or maybe we should have a vote, who wants 30 hours of, of daytime even, and we have some, I'm
Yeah.
sure the majority of people would want the days
Yes.
extended,
Yeah. And do you think people will
so
sleep better if they have all that amount of hours?
ironically, I don't think so. Ironically,
Yeah.
ironically, it's hard to tell,
Yes.
because once we think, if the days, I don't think they'll get extended, but if by chance they were,
Yeah.
one
Mm-hmm.
will be thinking is, oh, I have more time to do this and to do my
Yes.
groceries and to shop and to,
Yeah. Yeah.
but sleep would be the last thing on our minds.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why, we need to bring it to the fore. And, we were talking about how that we needed to, our health is an active thing that we need to
Mm-hmm.
do. We need to actively sleep.
Yeah.
We need,
Mm.
it's an, active thing that we need to do to actually sleep, and it's, we must have heard about the phrase sleep hygiene, how we can bring ourselves to that point where we can sleep. Sleep is really very important. The benefits are exhaustive. It reduces all this things that we have talked about, all the physical conditions that we just outlined earlier. It has been said to reduce infections, inflammations. It improves our mood. We helps us lose weight. It helps our brains recover from the day's stress. Even children, when they sleep at night, it is said that during sleep is when the brain grows, the cells grow. The body grows during sleep, and that's why we have the growing pains when we sleep, because that's when it's not when the children are running up and down that they are growing. So how can we actively sleep? So some things that we need to do, would be to exercise, and we'll still talk about that later. To actively put off all our devices at night. I've heard of people putting like TVs and such in their rooms, and I feel like sometimes this could defeat the purpose of the sleep of us sleeping in the rooms, because we want to make our brains wind down. We don't want to continue stimulating our brains. They have been overstimulated throughout the day. Now it's time for them to be in underdrive, for them to cool down and rest and rejuvenate. So we need to remove all, it would be best to remove all electronic devices, take a warm bath at night, make sure your room is conducive, not too hot, not too cold, go to bed around the same time. Don't eat heavy meals at night, because that can affect your sleep and things like that. And so if we try to, just incorporate the sleep hygiene into, our daily routines, it would really be beneficial. Yes, another thing, another way we can improve our mental and physical state of mind would be regular exercise. Exercise is just so important. All those things that we have, that we've been talking about, the high blood pressure and high blood sugar, several studies have shown that they reduce all those things. And apart from that, it helps us, it boosts our mood. We feel more confident, we feel more relaxed after exercise, and it has shown that it even, it elongates our lives. So people who don't exercise, studies have shown that they have a shorter lifespan than those who actively exercise and make it regular. Targets would be for an average adult. It's recommended that we have at least 150 minutes of exercise per week. You can share it to whichever, in whichever way you prefer. You either do maybe 5 days of 20 minutes, if that works for you, or 30 minutes every 3 days a week, however you think it. Sometimes some people can do short bursts of 10 minutes and scatter it throughout their day, but either one, whichever one works for you, is just getting, to that target of 150 minutes per week to reap the benefits of exercise. Alongside, a healthy diet is also really important. If we think about the Canada Food Guide, and pardon me, that I'm using Canada Food Guide, I live in Canada, so I'm biased. you know so the Canada Food Guide is just a really perfect way of summing up how our meals should be, because they gave a pictorial diagram that states that if you have your plate before you, if you divide it into half of what you eat should be fruits and vegetables. So any fruits and vegetables that you wish, the strawberries and the grapes and the apples and the oranges, and the vegetables, the spinach, the kale, lettuce, and what have you, half of that plate should be. And then for the remaining half, if you split it again by half, for 1/4 should be whole grains. So whatever whole grains, your rice, brown rice, whole grain pasta, whole grain bread, things like that. And then the remaining quarter should be then your poultry, so which would be your beef, your chicken, and what have you, just in that quarter. And your drink of choice should be water, not pop, not juice, not soda, not wine. It should be water, because water gives you the best refreshment for the body. It's just a perfect drink, for the body. So if we put that in mind and we just continue to incorporate it into our diet, that we try to eat healthy, stay off of smoking, or cut down our alcohol if we take any, it would help improve all those things we've talked about, improve our weight as well, improve our mood, give out its nourishments, because these fruits and vegetables have nourishments that it releases into our bodies. And then I would just a few more things that I would like to add is that, we need to be kind to ourselves when we really talk about physical health. Sometimes we are really so hard on ourselves. We push ourselves. Oh, you're not doing enough. You're not exercising enough, or you're not doing, and then that guilt continues to carry. If we're not able to, it continues to carry. But be kind to yourself. What are the things that you like to do? Do you like to paint? Then paint. Make out time for it. Have your own small corner, in your house where you do what you love to do. If you love to color, if you love to paint, you like to make music, because doing what you love to do, you know, would release the sweet hormones in the body, that improve the mood, like serotonin and other hormones. It releases the hormones that would elevate the mood. And once your mood is high, we have talked about how your mental state is high, how it
Mm-hmm.
affects your physical health.
Mm-hmm.
So do what you love to do. And lastly, I would say let it go. There are
Mm-hmm.
some things that we carry, some burdens that we carry, that we should let it go. So if you bear a grudge against anybody, if you were, you know, if somebody has hurt you, try to let it go. Get to that point where you can let it go, just for your own peace of mind.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow.
Yeah.
Let it go. Let
Let
it
it go.
go.
Exactly.
Let
Let
it
it go.
go. Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry if I'm not singing that right, to all our frozen viewers. I'm so sorry if I'm not singing that out. Yeah. And I think, yes, and I think I agree a lot. Like this is what I, talk about in my sessions, like the exercise, the sleep, and the
Right.
importance of healthy diet. And I think I think this month as well too. We also had Ori Beam, who is a registered dietitian, come up here, and then she was talking about the importance of, a healthy diet, of what a healthy diet consists of, and what a healthy
Mm-hmm.
diet is not about. It's not, and I
Mm-hmm.
think that is very important. And I think I want to stress on what you had said with regards to self compassion. That is huge. That is
Right.
so huge because I think a lot of
Right.
times we are not being kind to ourselves.
That's true.
Yeah, I have a lot of teens and a lot of children come in here, and it's just sad to see that we can offer that kindness to other people, but we cannot extend that kindness to ourselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
True.
so that
True.
is the trend that I'm seeing, that it's easy to give that kindness to a friend, but we cannot extend that kindness to ourselves as well too.
That's true.
And I think that's where letting it go comes in, because if we're not being kind to ourselves, then it becomes difficult to forgive ourselves. It
Mm-hmm.
becomes difficult for us to like show grace, to
Yeah.
ourselves as well too. So
Yeah.
those are all awesome, awesome tips you have provided. And I do not see any question in the chat. Yeah, I do not see any question in the chat. And so I'm just going to ask, is there any last word you have, with regards to mental health and our physical health too? And I think it's also important that part of all those things you have said, because a lot of times when people can't see me, I'm asking them when was the last time they saw their family physician. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if people are afraid, or if people if people don't want to go. I don't know what's happening, but do you have any last word with regards to our mental health and physical health?
Okay. Well, thank you for that point that you made. Is really very important. That to stress that it's really good for us to have periodic health screens. That's living our best physical lives. If we have, get in touch with our healthcare providers and make sure that we are, our health is top notch. And my last word would just be that health is an action word. we need to work it out, just like we work out our daily lives. We need to work out our health, and that what we have, being alive and being in our bodies, we already have the ingredients we need to be healthy. So, we just need to live our best physical and mental lives, be the best version of ourselves that we can be.
Awesome. You've heard it there from Dr. Bukala. The health is an action word. It's something you need to keep doing. It's something you need to stay active on. You need to do. And to all our parents out there and to all our caregivers, I know sometimes it's difficult to take care of ourselves because we have all these other people we're taking care of. But I
Right.
think it's very important that you take care of yourself, because if you're not healthy, it becomes very difficult to take care of someone else, right? So it's important for you to take care of yourself, just like our doctor here has said. And I don't think I want to add anything to what she has said. Yes, I don't see any question here. And I want to say thank you so much, Dr. Bukala. I know you're so busy. I know we've been talking about this live for a
Right.
long time.
We have.
And I'm finally happy that we did it. So thank you so
I
much
am
for
too.
all the amazing and wonderful, tips you have shared here. And if there is anything you have to take home with today, it's pay attention to your exercise, pay attention to your diet, pay attention to your sleep, pay attention to self
Right.
care, and let it go if you need to let it go. And do not forget to go see your physician, go see or seek help or ask for help. I think there is nothing wrong with, asking for help when it is necessary. And so, with that, we're going to bid you a good evening today. Thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, just a bit of announcement. This weekend, we're going to have a workshop, and it's a Q&A workshop. It's children and wellness, and it's all about creating that physical and emotional balance. And so if you're not doing anything around 12 p.m. Central Time, it's just an hour. We have Dr. Wumi, and so she would also come and she will be answering questions as well with regards to how can we create that balance, how can we create our physical and emotional balance. So it's this weekend. Check out our Facebook, and the links are all there on how to like sign up for that workshop. So thank you so much to all our viewers on Facebook, on YouTube, or LinkedIn, and to all our Instagram viewers. I promise I'm going to download this and I'm going to be putting it out there. Thank you so much. And once again, Dr. Bukola, thank you. And we look forward to bringing you here again so that we
Thank
can
you very
take out
much.
from, all the wealth of knowledge you have in there. Thank you
Thank you
so
for
much.
having me. I'm
Yes.
honored. I was honored to be here. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And so from me and from Dr. Bukola, we bid you all a good evening. Bye bye.
Good evening. Bye.